Hello everybody on YouTube, it's Xaldin here, the Magician Master 100, known as the Master of all Spellcasters, here to do a deck update. I will probably do an anime review on Friday. So anyway, here's my deck here. I have the main deck, the extra deck, and the side deck. And judging by the High Priestess, this is a prophecy deck. But there's a little bit of twist to it. I saw this on YouTube with Christian, Music1Jacket69. Go check out his channel. Anyway, he showed me this video of this guy who got top tiered at a regional. So, I thought of doing my own version of the deck. So, let's not waste any time. Let's finally do this deck list. So, we have 3 High Priestesses of Prophecy, the main lady of the deck. Really gotta use your High Priestess. 3 Temperances, the other main lady of the deck, good for special summoning your lights and dark spellcasters, as long as they're level 5 or higher. Everyone's favorite, Stratos of the deck. Well, maybe not entirely Stratos, but Spellbook Magician. Allows you to search for your spell books. And yes, I have 3. I'm going to look for a different rarity one. More like this one, but not like this one. 2 Justice of Prophecy. Everyone's other favorite prophecy of the deck. Good for searching. 2 Stoics. Good for searching for either your Temperance or Justices. Or, here's a little twist now to it. 2 Fools of Prophecy. That's right, 2 Fool of Prophecy. The one of the twists of the deck. And now the other main twist of the deck. Reaper of Prophecy. Now you never expect a High Priestess and a Reaper of Prophecy in this deck here. But I've play tested this deck and it's not so bad. It actually really worked out. I got like 2 out of 3 wins. Well, I mean not 2 out of 3 wins. I mean, say 2 wins and 3 losses at my locals, but it wasn't so bad. It was pretty well, actually. Beat a Frog deck and a Noble Knight deck with this cards here. 2 of the Tuner Monster, and good for effect negating, Effect Failure. Obvious reason, self-explanatory. Now we're gonna go to the spell cards. We have 3 Spellbook of Secrets, self-explanatory. 2 Spellbook of Masters. Yes, I finally have 2 Spellbook of the Masters. So I don't want any comments saying, like, why don't you have 2 Spellbook of the Masters and blah, blah, blah. No, no more of that. I finally have them. Here they are. That's it. It kind of cost me a lot, but I finally got them. Anyway, 2 Grand Spellbook Towers, self-explanatory. 2 Spellbook Wisdoms, the Forbidden Lance of the deck. Now, the only difference of the deck is this guy had like 3 of them, but I only had 2 Spellbook of Powers. One's in my side deck, which you'll probably see in a little bit. But anyway, you'll be doing a lot of removing from play in this deck. So that's why you need 2 Spellbook of Eternity. Good for bringing back your remove from play cards, and that loop I showed you from the High Priestess and and Grand Spellbook Tower loop. 2 Spellbook of Life. Now, the guy mentioned that, he doesn't use Monster Reborn because he has Spellbook of Life, which I can kind of agree with the guy. 1 Spellbook of Fate. Yes, I finally use a Spellbook of Fate. So, none of you have to, comment about why aren't you using Spellbook of Fate? Why aren't you using Spellbook of Fate? Yeah. So, anyway, 1 Star Hall. Some people have been using Star Hall a lot. Good for giving your monsters 100 attack, and for goods for searching if your opponent destroys it. So anyway, now for the traps. Yes, some of you are probably thinking, this deck has traps? Yes, it does have traps. Because these traps are actually really necessary, and they help you out, and traps can help you out in a certain particular way. It can help you with, different combos, and such. So, let's not wasting time, let's get to the traps. We have 2 Wabakus. I know some of you are thinking, why aren't you using Threatening Roar? Threatening Roar ends the battle phase, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I like Wabaku, and I'm sticking with Wabaku. 1 Solo Warning. It's a good counter trap, good for negating summons. and that's probably going to ruin your day. And finally, 1 Mirror Force. Well, that's the main deck. Now for these extra deck. We have 1 number 11 Big Eye, one of my favorite Xyz monsters. 1 Gaga Cowboy. Yes, now some of you are probably thinking, why do I have a rank 4 in my deck? Well, the thing is, if you use Spellbook of Life, this will help you out with your Xyz summons as well as, bringing back your, spellcasters from your graveyard. So anyway, back to the deck. 1 Alchemic Magician. I just felt like having the Alchemic Magician in my deck. I had thoughts of taking her out, to be honest with you guys. But anyway, it's just to be there, and the whole Spellbook of Life I just explained. 1 Empress of Prophecy. She's not so bad of a monster. One of the monsters that can surpass her, Stardust Dragon. So, really good. 1 Hierophant of Prophecy. Really good monster, kind of like the Heavy Storm. Except if, you have to have a certain amount of spellbooks in your graveyard. But he's a pretty good monster. I have 2 of him, to let you all know. 1 Explosive Magician. 2 Tempest of Magician. And also 3 of my personal favorite cards, Arcanite Magician, 1 Supreme Arcanite Magician, 1 Utopia, self-explanatory, and 1 Maestro, self-explanatory. Now for the side deck. I keep 1 Endymion, the Master Magician. Yes, I kept almost saying Prophecy. But anyway, the thing about Endymion is you want to keep one very close to you, because if your opponent comes out of nowhere and happens to have a probation or happens to, stop you from summoning your High Priestess, this will actually come in handy. Other than your Reaper, this will definitely come in handy at any point. 1 Spellbook Library of Crescent. I think this is one of my personal favorite of the spellbooks. It's pretty good, and even though that, it prevents you from playing other spell cards, look at your deck. Your entire spell card lineup is all spell books, so you don't have to worry about anything if you run this card in your deck. Anyway, here's that power I mentioned. Now, I would suggest keeping this card nearby. Secret Village of the Spellcasters. This card you gotta keep by, because it's not so bad. Everyone seems to love it. I loved it back when I was younger. I used to get people upset about it. I would keep telling them, hey, don't hate me, hate the card. So anyway, so keep your secret villages close by. 1 Miracle Synchro. That's one of the reasons why I have that Supreme Arcanite Magician in my deck. 1 Monster Reborn. Yeah, you want to keep your Monster Reborns close by if you're gonna, have your decks and all that. Unless it somehow Konami comes out of nowhere and bans the card. So anyway, keep it close by. 1 Swords, self-explanatory and close by. 2 Max C's, 1 Rivalry, and 2 Convault Evacuation Device, and finally 2 Wonder Wands. Well, that's my deck. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys like the deck, and I hope to see you guys in my next review. And for Shujo month. So, thanks for watching. Catch you all later.